I want to remind you, we've had recessions since the beginning of time all over the world, and we will again. Even if some politicians say, don't worry, never again will we have a recession. They've got Ivy League educations, but don't believe them. Don't believe them. I assure you, we will have recessions again. And Keith, the next one is going to be the worst in my lifetime. And I say that not as an alarmist, but in 2008, we had a serious problem because of too much debt. Since 2008, Keith, the debt has skyrocketed everywhere. Even China, which had virtually no debt 20 years ago, now has lots of debt and will have bankruptcies. So don't think it's not coming back, and don't think it's not going to affect a lot of people.
Now, I was listening to you closely, Jim. Maybe I'm taking you too literally. Did you say that the market could be the ones that set the rate in the future rather than the Fed being the one artificially setting these rates? Did I understand you correctly? Tell us about that.
The Fed will be a participant.
In today's rapidly changing economic landscape, understanding the future of inflation, interest rates, and financial stability is more crucial than ever. Legendary investor Jim Rogers offers unique insights into these critical topics, providing a roadmap for what we might expect in the coming years. As we navigate these uncertain times, companies like Augusta Precious Metals can play a vital role in safeguarding your wealth. Augusta Precious Metals is a trusted company that sells precious metals like gold, silver, and more, ensuring that your assets remain secure through the stability of these timeless investments. Stay with us as we dive into Jim Rogers' predictions and explore how you can protect your financial future.
It's always cyclical, but now with more economies opening up and this increase that we have in demand, besides all the money printing, the currency creation, like you mentioned, it feels to a lot of people like there are more factors there to have monetary inflation. It's not just the United States that's creating currency like crazy. It's an awful lot of world nations. So what are your thoughts with an inflation outlook? Is that something sustainable, or is that just more of a short-term phenomenon, or doesn't it even exist at all?
As you well point out, every country, nearly every country in the world is doing it at an unprecedented level. In Japan, the head of the Bank of Japan says he will print unlimited, that's his word, unlimited amounts of money. Everybody is doing it, and historically, that has eventually led to inflation. I mean, I don't know if you go shopping, Keith, or not. Maybe your butler does your shopping, but the rest of us know that prices are going up. No matter what it is, for education, groceries, restaurants, entertainment, education, prices are going up again. Wow. Now, the U.S. government, and whenever we talk about governments, I'll try to qualify, but the U.S. government says, don't worry, it's not going to last. If you believe them, that things are different this time, that gigantic money printing does not lead to inflation, then you shouldn't listen to me. But I expect more inflation.
Now, interestingly, the term quantitative easing is something that was introduced to a lot of people's economic vernacular back about 12 years ago, coming off the global financial crisis.
Rogers' perspective on inflation being a persistent issue resonates with many of the concerns that economists and investors share today. The combination of expansive monetary policies and supply chain disruptions has created a perfect storm for inflation to take hold. This isn't just a temporary blip. Rogers suggests it could be a long-term challenge. For those looking to protect their wealth, investing in precious metals through a trusted company like Augusta Precious Metals can be a wise strategy. Gold and silver are known to retain their value, providing a stable foundation for your portfolio in the face of rising inflation.
Now, when you were with us here last time, you predicted that interest rates were going to go higher. They've gone lower. But I think you were talking about the long term when you were giving us that outlook. And of course, inflation and interest rates are positively correlated. So if we do get higher inflation, it will take higher interest rates and the Fed raising those rates to tamp down on inflation. Is that all congruent with your outlook, higher interest rates and higher inflation in conjunction with each other?
Well, that's usually what happens when you have higher inflation. People demand higher interest rates in order to use their money. So it's probably going to happen again. Yes, I would expect that. And you are correct in what you said. What I was talking about and what I'm talking about now is, interest rates went down in the U.S. for 40 years. When they turn around, they're going to go up and they're going to go higher for a considerable period of time. I'm not very good at market timing, so I don't know. Maybe you have to watch Get Rich to find out when it starts.
That's right. A lot of people are doing that right now. Now, we focus here a lot on the United States housing market, Jim.
Interest rates are the other side of the inflation coin, and as Rogers highlights, central banks are in a difficult position. If they raise rates to combat inflation, they risk triggering a recession. If they keep rates low, inflation could spiral out of control. Rogers' insights suggest that we're entering a period of economic tightrope walking, where every move by central banks could have significant consequences. This is a critical area to watch, as interest rate changes will directly impact everything from mortgage rates to the stock market. In times of such uncertainty, holding precious metals from a reputable provider like Augusta Precious Metals can offer a hedge against these risks.
I want to change gears, Jim, and get what your thoughts are on cryptocurrency. That's something that you and I have not discussed before. Despite the recent pullback in, say, the Bitcoin price, the Bitcoin is the cryptocurrency with the greatest market cap. We still had a 3 to 4x run up in Bitcoin in just the last year alone. El Salvador recently came out and said they're going to make cryptocurrency legal tender within their country, although within practice, I don't really know that much is going to change inside El Salvador or not. There was recently a huge Bitcoin conference in Miami where you had 50,000 attendees and prominent speakers like Ron Paul and Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey and the Winklevoss twins and so on. So, you and I talked about inflation earlier in the chat here. One way people like to hedge against inflation is increasingly with a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, where there is a finite supply of 21 million Bitcoins. What are your thoughts? And is cryptocurrency like Bitcoin a legitimate way to hedge oneself against inflation?
Well, first of all money is going to be on the computer, Keith. There's no question. It already is in China. You can't take a taxi in China with money. You have to have your money on your computer. It just doesn't work otherwise. We've had hundreds of cryptocurrencies already disappear and go to zero. More will go to zero too. We have thousands of them now. Maybe they're all going to work. It usually doesn't work. The world usually doesn't work that way. So money is going to be on the computer, but in my view, it's going to be government money. When the US money is on the phone, on the computer, I don't think the US is going to say, okay, this is money now. But if you want to use their money, you can use their money. That's not the way governments think, or politicians, bureaucrats don't like to lose control. They like to keep their monopoly. And I suspect that will happen again. So if these currencies, any other, become viable as currency, I suspect the governments will step in. They always have. We'll see. But Keith, I want to say, if you're good at trading, and these are nothing wrong with these as trading vehicles right now, and if you're good at trading, do it. But if you think you're going to have the new US dollar, I suspect you're not.
The idea of Bitcoin as a safe haven against inflation is a hotly debated topic. Rogers approaches this with skepticism, acknowledging the rise of cryptocurrencies but also pointing out their volatility and the uncertainty surrounding their long-term viability. While Bitcoin and other digital assets have attracted attention as alternative stores of value, Rogers reminds us that traditional assets like gold still hold significant sway. Investing in precious metals through Augusta Precious Metals ensures that your wealth is anchored in something tangible and historically resilient, offering a more stable option in uncertain economic times.
January of 2019, about 2.5 years ago, we were in such a different place then, Jim. We were in the longest economic expansion in United States history then. You mentioned that short-term interest rates were higher than long-term interest rates, and that could signal a recession. A recession sure did take place. So where do you think we're going in the future? We've had this pent-up demand that could be released post-recession. Do we think we're going to see economies roar with things like hiring and growth? Tell us more.
Well, it has been 2.5 years. Things have changed indeed. I'm in quarantine, as you can probably see right now.
In predicting future economic trends, Rogers draws from his vast experience and deep understanding of global markets. His emphasis on the potential for significant shifts in economic power, particularly towards Asia, is something investors should pay close attention to. This isn't just about reacting to short-term trends but about positioning oneself for the long haul. For those looking to safeguard their assets during these shifts, Augusta Precious Metals provides a trusted solution for investing in gold, silver, and other precious metals, helping you secure your financial future no matter how the global landscape changes.
Well, it did create some inflation. Governments have a tendency and an incentive to lie about inflation for obvious reasons. In the US, for instance, many expenses are tied to the rate of inflation. So if the government can say inflation is down, they don't have to pay as much. As I say, maybe you don't go shopping or didn't. Anyway, inflation did come back, and a lot of it went into financial markets around the world. Bonds at the highest level in recorded history. Stocks are booming in the US and most parts of the world. So the money did go somewhere. Some of it went into price increases. Now more of it's going into price increases. I would suspect we're going to see more inflation, but who knows? By the way, it doesn't go up every month when you have inflation. It doesn't go up every week, but over a period of years, you see price increases, serious price increases.
I've heard some people even speculate with hyperinflation. I think that's a bit extreme. Most people's definition of hyperinflation is like with something with what's happened in Venezuela recently, where you can have hundreds of percent inflation per month, not per year, but per month.
Rogers' commentary on government manipulation of inflation statistics is a stark reminder of the importance of critical thinking in financial matters. Governments have a vested interest in presenting a more favorable picture of inflation, but as Rogers points out, the real impact on everyday life can be much harsher. For investors and the general public alike, this means looking beyond official numbers and seeking out more accurate measures of economic reality. One way to protect yourself from these uncertainties is by investing in precious metals. Augusta Precious Metals can help you secure your assets with investments that have stood the test of time, providing stability in an unstable world. Stay informed, stay prepared, and remember, the decisions you make today could shape your financial security for years to come. To know more about Augusta Precious Metals, click the link below. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this.